Hi guys, welcome to Lift this evening. This is going to be a bit of a playful session today. Stu's not experienced this yet today at all, so he's totally learning as you are. So it's going to be a lot of kind of funky leg stuff that we're going to do, just that kind of developing some stability in the ankles, and then we're going to kind of work on some core stuff. So it should be a fun little workout. I would suggest bare feet for this, so if you do have trainers, I would take the trainers off for this because we need to feel our feet. So we're starting on quads, coming down that front of the leg, either with your roller or your med ball. And as we said in the last class, we were really wanting you guys to breathe as you're doing this. So big deep breath in the nose. Breath out the mouth, and when you breathe out, I want you to think melt. Okay, so I want you to just let go and allow the tissue to soften. So using your foam roller.
I wish I had a foam roller right now.
Using your med ball, using a toning ball, even like a small football, if it's kind of hard enough. And just getting the support through your upper body.
Oh.
Yeah. And be a little bit off center for quads. Usually we're a little bit tighter around the outer edge of the quads. Breathing there, melting down. And as the tissue lets go, then we want to go down a little bit further. Stu's really worked my legs in the last hour, so I'm really needing this.
Get your own man time, is it now?
Yeah, let's see how he copes with his stability tonight.
Don't judge me!
And we're going to do lots of some funky wrist stuff. So this will be good for those of you that really need to develop the weight bearing and kind of get that pressure out of the wrists.
Oh.
How are we doing? We good? We breathing? A few more seconds here. So we should be making our way down that front of the thigh. If you've come in a little bit later, spend a little bit more time on there. I'll do the couch stretching today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I come over for this?
Yes. Okay, so slowly peel yourself off. And let's go to the other side. If you're still feeling like you need a little bit more time on that side, take your time. So start right at that top crease of your leg. I don't know if I'm going to get through everything today. I'm very ambitious with what I'm trying to get through today. Today's going to be a lot of kind of technique-y stuff, a lot of fine detail. So hopefully even if you get a few really good quality skills from today, then we've achieved something.
Cal's got the list up there, so we've got the back flips, the front flips,
yeah.
We've got the roly-polies, break dancing, and head spinning for the break dancing.
Yeah,
so,
headstands. I know. How are we doing?
We're still tuning.
Thumbs up. We're all right.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so just slowly breathing in, nice big deep breaths. Okay, and as the tissue melts, then slowly moving down the leg. So we just want to allow that tissue to surrender to your surface that you're on. And listening to when it does melt. If it's not melting, get the brain to focus on softening. Maybe visualize like liquid chocolate. I don't know why liquid chocolate always comes into my head when it's melting.
Because you like chocolate!
I love chocolate. Only dark though.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it hurt so much on this other leg?
Okay. So notice that, if you've got a really big difference in sides, just really notice that.
It's like, yeah, it's triple fold on this left.
Yeah. Okay, now what I want you to do, because you've released the quads, is I want you to put your foot on your couch. If you've got a couch nearby or a chair, if you don't, that's fine. So you come onto the mat. Yeah, so come into your kneeling lunge. So your back foot, ideally, if I was the couch, yeah, I'd have the foot up on the couch, slide, lean forward to the front leg. Woo! Okay, and then tilt the pelvis up through the front, so 12 o'clock, drag the heel. You okay with that?
Yeah, come in, check it.
Yeah. If you don't have a couch nearby, you can grab the leg like Stu. Just watch you don't compress the knee. So you don't want to be right vertical on the kneecap.
Like
You want to be slightly leaned into it. If it's too much to do those two, just drop the foot down. Maybe have the toe tucked under like that. And then still tilt the pelvis, drag the front heel. Okay, so make sure you're getting that active stretch. Some of you with the foot on the couch might just have your hands on your knees. That might be enough. Might be quite tight. And then just let the feeling go for a second. Then tilt it back up. So navel, pubic bone to navel. Drag the front heel. And if you feel, maybe your leg's on the ground like Stu, you can have your arms up. But it might not be possible with the leg on the couch. Okay? And then come back down, let it relax. So I like usually kind of tilting, dragging, feeling the tension. Arms up or just at your thighs or even just out in front. And hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. And let's do that one more time. So tilting up the pelvis. How's that feeling?
Yeah, it still works even with the back foot on the floor.
Yeah.
Especially if you do the heel drag with the posterior tilt, it still does the job.
It's just that the foot is going to also get your quads, whereas this one is only going to get the hip flexors. Okay? So last time with the arms up, or just balancing or holding the front leg, depending on how tight it is, and then release and change legs. Okay, so for some of you, when you have that foot up, you might actually be down here. You know, with my foot up, if it's really, really tight, you might not be able to even come up. So it might be that you just come up, balance for a second, come back down, let go. Okay? So, other foot up.
I like if you're going to do this one with the hand catch, I would suggest the opposite hand to the foot. You can keep the balance with that said.
Yeah. That's quite hard. Okay, that's why the couch is quite nice, because it just opens up the knee a little bit more. Okay, so tilt the pelvis, drag the heel, with or without arms for 3, 2, 1, and then release, let it go. And tilt the pelvis up. Okay, so pubic bone to navel, hands at the thighs if you're balancing there, forward or up for 3, 2, 1, and release. Good, let's do it one more time. And tilt, drag. Everyone looks like they got in position a little bit quicker there. And up.
It's that posterior tilt, isn't it?
Yeah, you need that tilt to kind of get it. Lovely. And then release. Okay, so we're just going to do some calf work because we're doing a lot of ankle-y stuff today. So grab your lacrosse balls, and I want you to get into the ankle. Now, you know the little peroneal one that I don't know that well, so can you also show that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
The one that I'm just still recovering from the bruising of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so be careful of that. So start at the center calf, so gastroc first.
We're just doing this first,
Yeah. And then if you can show that other option. Okay, so you can start kind of at the top of the calf. It tends to be a little bit more for me around the outer edge. I don't know for you. But some people will be right straight down the middle. You might want to put the other leg on top if it doesn't feel hard enough, just as it is. Rotating a little bit off center, just kind of feel where it needs to go.
And sit with a nice tall spine as well, everyone, yeah? So hands are relatively close to the pockets. I can lift up through my ribcage, through the vertebrae there, and then I can add a cheeky little lean forward, but keeping the extension, okay? And then that, just transfers a little bit more weight, a little bit more discomfort.
The problem is sometimes if we are trying too hard to sit up tall, the leg starts getting kind of tensioned. So even when I try and pull up really tight, my calf starts going like a little bit tense. So it's finding that balance where the calf is still released. So you can work it down more towards the Achilles and just kind of checking around there, how it feels.
This one was on our first foot pause for the
Achilles.
Yeah. And like you said, if you do go lower down, because this low near the Achilles, it gets really tight. And we see a lot of people that don't squat or lunge very, very efficiently.
Yeah.
And these areas can be a part of the problem, okay? So it might take a little bit longer for you to feel if you go lower down into the Achilles, but I mean, to be fair.
Right on it?
Yeah, absolutely bang on, yeah. And just, if you can get the balance,
it's
and then bring the other foot on top and just try and do your best to slow the breathing down and just relax. It'll improve your knee position during your movement, get your ankle as well from this.
And we're going to do lots of kind of different variations of squats, so we want those calves to be kind of nice and loose.
Can we do the peroneals now?
Yeah, if
Okay,
she
so
shows the peroneals.
keep it on the same side. A couple of ways you can get into this one, but generally we're going to be working off the side of the shin, going to your outer leg. So I think the easiest position for most of you to sit right there is kind of like Kel's adopted a Z-sit position, which is totally cool. I think we've all done enough of that, but I would start quite high up near the knee to keep it away from the bone zone, okay? And then the weight of that leg, you know, you don't need to do much.
Ooh.
Right?
So you're kind of between the shin and kind of the calf in that little groove, right?
I can bend my other leg and bring that foot to the floor. I could bring that leg down.
Yeah.
I could even, I could go into a kind of a sideline position there, and then my foot is actually off the floor there. You can see, and it's what I find hard with that is just promoting myself to relax a bit. I personally, and you call it, you try the one for you. I like this one. Because in a weird kind of way, what I also like to do from here is just lean forward and put a lot of weight into that. Because I've got flat feet, they've got a lot better, but this is a great release, you know, for the foot mechanics as well. Yeah?
I don't feel like I need to press very much. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but it's pretty painful.
But still
That's a good one to, That's a good one to play. The peroneals are the ones that if they're tight, they will roll your foot in. So by releasing it, you'll get more of an arch on the other side. Right. Should we do the
other side?
Other side?
Absolutely.
Spend more time there if you felt like that was a painful area later on this week. Okay, guys?
I'll go back to it in a couple of days' time and try it again. And I think just practice makes perfect with these. You'll feel a difference if you do these quite diligently in your own time. I think if you just do it every now and then, well, like anything, you're not going to get much benefit.
So let's start at the top of the calf, figure out where you need to go. We'll go Achilles and then we'll go peroneal. So just kind of a 40 seconds on each.
Yeah, as a minimum, I think. Ideally 2 to 4 minutes.
I'm just thinking because we're going on
the
same thing. Yeah, ideally if you've got a really hot spot, you want to be hanging out there for 2 minutes. And it's amazing, there's a lot of spots around the calves that we kind of underappreciate. You know, we kind of spend our time here, but actually if you don't squat very deep, and that's for me, you'll see in my squats, that's why I use my body. It's because my calves are restricted that I can't get down that low. Okay, so take a few more breaths and then we'll move it down to the Achilles. So kind of right on that fascia, it's hard to balance there, isn't it?
It is a bit tough.
So you kind of have to use the other leg to kind of keep the ball still. So kind of right down, there's all the web of fascia from the back of your calves goes right down into that Achilles and then underneath your foot. So if you've got like plantar fasciitis and stuff, it might not be the under part of the foot that's tight, it might be up the chain of the calf that's tight, and it's then tugging on that underside of your foot. So just keep that in mind, it's not always underneath the foot that needs it. Yeah? Ooh, as you sink into it, it's quite nice.
Yeah, just to relax sometimes.
Kind of gets hot a little bit. Woo! That's radiating up my leg. So a few more seconds there, and then we'll do the peroneals, and then we'll get to work.
Yay.
I don't know if I'm going to get through everything today.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see.
We should be able to do the backflips at least.
Yeah. I might just go from the sun salute to the wrist stuff to the quadruped plank. I might miss the roller. Okay. Right, let's do that peroneal. So side of the leg, near the top, between the groove of the shin. Wow, that doesn't feel as bad, that side.
Adjust it.
But right, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I see some really like unhappy faces. We need more smiles. Going, oh gosh, what's coming? Enjoy this now, just warning you. Awesome.
It's hard to balance like that,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Let's go what works for you.
Yeah, so if you find this position uncomfortable to sit in, then you could just lie down almost in a little pseudo plank with that leg out, and then just push into that peroneal area.
And feel free to make small movements while it's on there. You know, you don't have to stay on one spot throughout. Just keep tweaking it. Go to where it feels more painful. But move it slowly to find those spots. I think if we go too quick, they're just going to get missed. Oh, so high up on this one compared to the other.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. So if you can take your shoes off, please.
Shoes off.
And socks off, potentially. Yeah, so ideally if you guys can have bare feet for this, that will be really good. So we can feel our toes on the ground. So come to the top of the mat. So we're going to do kind of a sun salutation. So you want to, where are you going? Fine. Yeah, so you want to be able to step backwards. So if you go to the front of the mat, you're going to be stepping backwards.
No.
Yeah? Okay, so what I want you to feel is your feet really spreading out on the floor. Okay, so whatever surface you're on, I really want you to kind of open your toes, feel the spread of your feet. And I just want you to do kind of a little, soft little bounce. Just like a little, kind of like you're relaxing the upper body, but not hunching the upper body. Okay, so you're kind of still lifted through your center, but almost relaxing the outside of you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so little bounces, and at first stay kind of more on the toe side a little bit. So little bounce, bounce, and just kind of feeling like you're in the tissue of yourself, rather than being kind of like rigid. Yeah. So little bounce.
Imagine on a snowboard.
Yeah. So you're kind of doing like little perturbations. Okay, then start to feel your heels a little bit more. So there's kind of a little bit more push off your heels. Yeah, so the heels are kind of like, almost like you're on a little trampoline. So the heels are kind of bouncing you up and down. So kind of push so the heels lift up a little bit. Heels up.
Oh, heels up, okay, right.
Yeah. So you're kind of pushing off of your heels. Now this is starting to warm up for me, the back of the legs a little bit. Okay, so hamstrings, calves. Still feel that wide feeling through the feet. Try and let go a little bit of the arms. Obviously, if your shoulders start to hang and you start hunching, then no. But try not to hold tension in the shoulders. Good. And then just come and relax. So just kind of warms up the legs a little bit. Have your feet nice and parallel, right underneath your hips, so not too wide. So go a little bit more narrow. Okay, so you kind of want the seam of your leg to come down into your big toe. So I would go a little bit more narrow than that.
Really?
Yep. Okay, so what I want you to do is take your arms up, straight up, lengthening up, and feeling the center of you growing without your ribs going forward. And then just lower your arms down. Okay, so I want you to press the ground away, lift up through your center, almost like you're growing taller as you push the ground away. Lift those arms and then return them back down. Okay, so there's a sense of drawing down into the floor as your center body goes up. Let the shoulders elevate a little bit. Okay, lifting through the ribs but not letting them go forward. And then come back down. This time, as your arms go up, stay up there. Good. Now you're going to hinge at your hips first. So the hips are going to go backwards, bending the knees a little bit. Good. Going into kind of a long line. Now lower your arms down here. Don't bend your knees too much, so it's more of a hinge. That's it. Good. Now I want you to stay and really lengthen yourself out in this position so you almost feel a little hamstring stretch. Now pull the arms by your side like the rowless row. Yeah? Good. Now from here, let the pelvis sit back a little bit, kind of feeling more your heels. And then lengthen the back of the leg so you feel your hamstrings stretching a little bit. Deep belly on. If you feel you're too low and you start rounding, lift up a little bit. Drawing up the bottom ribs. Good. And then lower to the ground, dropping your hands down to the floor. Drop your head. Yeah. Now roll back up. Articulating, sending the heels down. Good. And connecting up through that center, reaching the arms up to the sky. So let's repeat. Press into the floor, lift the arms up, deep belly. You're going to hinge at the hips first, bending the knees a little bit. And we kind of dive where the arms are by your head. Good. Then you're going to bring the arms into that kind of row position. Send the pelvis back, send the tail up a little bit, but draw the belly up. Lengthen through the legs so you feel your hamstrings. Lower the hands down, drop the head. Good, now feel the load through your heels as you stack yourself back up. Good, one more time. Inhale, lift. Nice deep center. Bend the knees, hinge the hips back. See if you can keep your arms by your head. If not, then bring them down into that rowless row. Watch the ribs aren't exploding forward, okay? So I want those bottom ribs to connect, lengthen through the upper body. Send the pelvis back, don't go too low. Okay, send the pelvis back, then lengthen up through the back of the legs. Just watch your slightly hyperextending there. Yeah. Then lower the hands down. Now you're going to stay with the hands on the floor. You're going to slide your right leg back into a long lunge. Woo! Okay, we're going to stay here. Now you have the option to lower your knee down onto the floor, okay? So we're going to stay here. We want the knee over the heel of the front leg. We want to be pressing into the front leg, not sinking into the hip. Your right hand is going to stay on the floor. You're going to rotate. Lovely. Good. You do this every time. Okay, so lengthen your arm. Don't think of going behind you. I want you to feel like your right arm is pushing into the floor. Your left arm is reaching up out of the floor. You feel that? Okay, make sure that knee is over the heel and then rotate back the other way. Good. Take your elbow into your thigh. Okay, so you're kind of pressing them into each other. Remember, you can go down onto the knee if it's too much to stay high. Reach the heel back, that Achilles heel. Good. And then come back to center. Lovely. Lower the knee down. And then come into quadruped for a second. Good. Spread the hands out on the floor. And ideally tucking your toes under like this, if we can. Okay, so just to feel that position of the feet. And I just want you to go into a little cat stretch where we round the upper body gently and kind of push the shoulder blades as if they're going apart a little bit. Draw in the rib cage and then tilt the tail down so we draw in the belly. So we're kind of going into 12. Good. Then tilt the pelvis up slowly without losing 12. So the tail goes, without losing your belly. You can't go up with the tail without losing 12. So keeping the deep belly on. Now, lengthen your spine out. Good, letting the shoulders gently retract together and just kind of feel more length. Yeah, good. Okay, so push the ground away gently. Let the shoulder blades spread apart. Coming up into the cat, rib cage. Good, tail going down, deep belly on. Okay, so this helps us to get that connection there. Then as the tail goes back up, I'm checking in that Stu hasn't lost his belly. Yeah, it wants to let go as we come back to neutral, right? Then we're going to lengthen through. So we're not going to let the ribs drop. We're almost going to connect the bottom ribs and keep going with the upper back. Retract the shoulders a little bit. I know it's really hard. The ribs want to drop. Can you feel that? Okay, one more time. Spread the shoulders apart. Lift the ribs. Good. Tail down, deep belly on. Good. Now keep your deep abdominals on as the tail goes up. The sit bones almost spread, but as we get through the ribs, don't let them collapse. That was much better. Shoulder blades come together without the ribs collapsing. Lengthen through the spine. Woo! And then have a little sit back. Now we're going to take the right leg forward. We're going to go into our other lunge. I'm going to not go back up to the top. Okay? So right leg forward. Hands down, and then you're going to send the option to have that back leg going back. So reaching that Achilles heel, you're going to keep your left hand on the floor, right hand. Think of the arms going away from one another rather than this arm going backwards. So you're almost protracting this shoulder blade on the floor as we lift out of the arm. So almost feel like you could lift your hand off the floor. You feel that?
Yeah, well, it's not possible.
Yeah, okay. And then come back around. And then bring that upper arm against the thigh as you turn the other way. Okay, remember you can have your knee on the floor, so it doesn't have to be this high option. This is quite hard to balance. Awesome. Then come back to center. Lovely. And then bring the legs back into your all fours position. Excellent. Now we're just going to come a little bit forward to the screen so you guys can see us a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to do some cool wrist stuff. So, if you can sit in this kind of position with your toes tucked under, and then get your hands kind of right underneath you, this is where I'd like you to be ideally. If it's too much with the toes like that, then tuck it under. So if you face the camera. Okay, so we're going to have the arms kind of right vertical So the wrists are right underneath the shoulders, okay? And you can have the legs slightly apart so your hands are quite close, so you're not in quadruped.
Okay.
Yeah?
More like that.
Yeah.
Feet coming together.
Yeah. And then bring the hands like right underneath your shoulders. Yeah. Okay. So bring the hands a little bit closer together, but middle finger pointing forward. Yeah, awesome. Okay. So and you can't really see Stu, what I want you guys to do is to keep your first finger, ball of the finger, so that part of the first finger on the ground, okay? And then I want you to rotate your elbow outwards and inwards. So without the first finger, little ball coming out, no, way too much. Okay, so you're going external rotation, internal rotation. External rotation, so that way, so you're turning your elbows in toward, yeah. So you want your elbows to be able to spin forward. So the pocket of your elbow to spin forward. Yeah? No, so more forward. Yeah, that way. Yeah, so the pocket of your elbow faces forward. Keep your shoulders down. Yeah, lovely. And then rotate inwards. Yes? Try not to bend them. Yeah, so it's quite hard. So this is really getting internal and external rotation of the shoulders. And you're going to keep that kind of first finger ball. Yeah, do you feel how hard that is? Yeah. So try not to bend the elbows as they go out to the side. You're really focusing on the external rotation. So it's only a little bit that way. You don't want to kind of go into there. So around, yeah, can you see how I'm doing that? Is that just really easy for me?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so turn, and you don't want to be hyperextended, but if you keep that first finger down, you can't really hyperextend your elbows. So turn the elbows towards the front, okay? Keeping that first finger down, you're going to lift your thumbs. Yeah, okay? Without letting that first finger ball, lift your thumbs 8 times. 3, can you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
4, keep the elbows forward. Yeah, shoulders down. Yeah, not too fast, so nice lift and down, yeah, lift and down. You feel how that's really working under there. So it's really working the fascia of the hand. Have we done 8? Okay, now keep the thumbs lifted, keep the elbows pointing forward, and you're going to go up onto your fingers. So the palms of the hands lift, but bend into the fingers. Bend into the fingers. So keep that pad of that first finger down. Woo! And elbows forward. Elbows forward, elbows forward. Yeah, the pocket, that's it. And thumbs are up. Okay, then come down, and then thumbs go down. Yeah, so turn those elbows forward. Yeah, when I say elbows, I mean the pit of the elbow. Okay, thumbs up, then bridge up onto the knuckles. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, then back down and down. Okay, 2 more.
2 more, really?
Yeah, thumbs up and lift. So you're kind of doing like a little bridge for your wrists. Yeah, it's hard. And down and release. 1 more. Thumbs up and down and release. So this is really working the fascia of your hand. I know. Now you're going to take your back of the hands together. Okay, interlace the hands so it's kind of like that.
Oh, this is how I go to punch in sometimes.
And then put your thumbs together. And then you're just going to rotate. So so you're kind of doing like a little circumduction. Yeah, try and keep the elbows kind of down so it's like really wrist, and see if you can kind of do it fast. It's quite hard. Everyone's giggling. Awesome, so keep the elbows down, see if you can just do the wrists, and then reverse. Yeah, there you go. So this is really working all that fascia up the hand. Nice. Woo, how's that feel? So it's really good for just kind of getting the palms of the hand to feel really stable. Okay, so now go back into all fours. Yep. Okay, so now I want you to feel the elbow pit facing forward and the first kind of finger pad down, the middle fingers kind of forward, yeah? And so you're really stable in here. Now we want to make sure that the pelvis is nice and neutral, so we have that little bit of 12 ribs connected, okay? And we've got that length. Now, pressing into one hand, you're going to lift the other arm up by your side without changing your spine, without twisting, and really keeping that one arm very, very stable. So the one arm comes up by the side of you. Yeah, so just a bent elbow position. Good, and then come back down. So feel that connection of your hand first. First finger, elbow facing forward. Yeah, you got that elbow pit forward. Yeah, and then come back down. Good, so you can see how the twist there is a little bit off. So yeah, that first finger, good. And keeping this length all the way through. Now, this time as you come up, you're going to add a little rotation. So come here, now push the ground away, good, little rotation, awesome, and then come back. We've still got that first finger ball on the floor, we've still got that elbow pit facing forward, push the ground away. Good, so nice and stable. Come out of the wrist one more time on each side. So decompress out of the wrist. Good, up into the shoulder. Woo, that's harder than it looks. One more time. Press and rotate. Nice. And then release. Awesome, guys. Okay, shake it all out. So if you need to do that little kind of circumduction, that's a nice little kind of relaxing thing after. Okay, stand yourself up. So we're going to do kind of a little, it's kind of a little old school. We used to do these for balance where you kind of tap around a clock. Okay, so this is for balance. So we're going to stand on the left leg. Okay, toes pointing forward ideally, we're not standing with them turned out. And the feet spread. Okay, now I really want you guys to feel like the kind of the shins and the knees are quite kind of solid as we balance up this right leg. Okay, so we don't want to have like a wibbly wobbly knee. We want kind of shin stable, feet stable, knee stable. Okay, then we're going to tap the foot forward, kind of forward on our clock, as far as we feel that we can tap comfortably without it feeling yucky. And then come back in. Okay, then we're going to tap kind of over to 2 o'clock on our little clock. Okay, what I want you to notice though is this knee kind of rotating in. Okay, so I want to keep that, see how far I can bend into that hip, really kind of stretch it out, see if I can go a little bit further. Ooh, and then come back. Good, to the side. So you can allow your body to lean a little bit. Okay, so you're kind of really going over, sitting back the bum. See if I can tap that little bit further. Awesome. Come back up, the corner to the back, so kind of 5 o'clock. Tap, 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 tap. How far can you stretch? Obviously, if you feel any knee pain, don't let it go there. Make sure it taps the ground. And the last one is straight behind you. So you can even kind of dive your other arm forward. Woo! And that's almost like our deep lunge. Now that really works the glutes.
Glutes, left glute on fire.
Okay, let's do the other side, just to give it a little break. Okay, so standing on that right leg, spread the feet. Kind of stabilize that lower leg so it's not going all over the place. Okay. So you don't have to go in one go. It's like I'm tapping into water.
Yeah.
It's like testing the water. Okay, notice your knee. Is it rotating in? So if you feel that, see if you can spiral it outwards a little bit. So I'm going over to that. Oh, you're much better on that one. 2 o'clock. Okay, 3. So over, you're sitting your bum back a little bit, yeah? So as I go to 3, I don't want the knee going forward. I want to kind of sit.
Oh, that's
back.
real work, that real work.
Okay, corner. Really sit that. So I don't want the weight on this leg. I can see some of you putting your weight on it. Okay, so it's not going onto that leg. Okay, you should be able to go tap, 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 tap with that leg all the time. Last one to the back. Good. See how far you can reach. So I'm not putting the weight on that leg. And come back up. Felt that?
Oh my goodness.
We're going to do that one more time on
really?
each side. We are. Okay, you're everyone okay on the knees? Okay, so just make sure you're not pushing it to where your knees are thrusting forward. Okay, so let's start on that left leg again. Get that base of stability. Get that lifted core. Okay, and tap. So what I want you to try and do is kind of tap and then see if you can kind of go a little bit deeper without thrusting that knee forward. So you have to sit back into your hip a little bit, and then come back. Okay, 2 o'clock. Good, go where you need to with your arms, yeah? Sitting back into that hip. Oh my goodness, okay? And my legs are shaking now. I wasn't supposed to be the demo person. Okay, so deep core on, see how far you can reach it. Can you get deeper into that leg? Push the ground away, corner. Reach, 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 reach. Nice. And back up. And then one more to the back. Good, so feel like your leg is going back into your hip, not your knee going forward. Nice one. Okay, one more set on the other side.
So those releases we did right at the start are quite key to all this, right?
Yep. Okay, so standing on that right leg, here we go to the front. Okay, and if you're finding you're not really getting that deep, check in with your calf. Are you bending into your hip enough? Because sometimes we don't bend into the hip, we're relying just on the knee going forward. But if we bend that hip, I can go a little bit further. Okay, where are we at? Side.
Sit the hips back, guys. Watch the knees coming over the toes. Try and minimise that as best you can.
Good. Last 2. To the corner. Nice. Excellent. And one more to the back. Nice one. Reach, 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 reach. And release. Well done. Okay, we're going to come back to the mat. So we're going to keep coming back to these weight-bearing exercises. Okay, so we're going to go into a press-up. But I want you to really keep that new little rotation with that first finger on the ground. Okay? My dad, can you take your jumper off, or just so we can see a little bit more? Take some water. Okay, so come on down back to all fours. Okay, so back to that quadruped position. So hands nice and wide, middle finger pointing forward. Okay, first finger, pad of the finger on, and then those elbows rotated. Yeah, so this is going to really also connect you into your shoulders. So there will be a little bit of retraction here. Just make sure then the retraction doesn't dip the pelvis. Okay, now you can decide to stay in this box shape, or you can walk the knees back or the body forward. So we're going to do a little press-up position. Okay? So keep that position. So there's a little bit of retraction. We've got that first finger on the ground. Okay? Deep belly on. Now you're going to slowly lower. Make sure the wrists are right underneath your armpits in this position. Yeah, good. Okay? So deep abdominals on. We're going to slowly lower into a little push-up. Keep the ribs connected. Keep that position. Yeah. Obviously the arms are going to rotate around and then push the ground away to come back up. Good. Keep the kind of your xiphoid process a little bit. You know that bottom of the ribs? Keep that on. Keep length, keep length, keep length. See, this is hard, even in just all fours. So if you're going down and up quite easily, you are either letting go of your belly or your head is leading.
It's easy to do wrong. Trust me, it's easy to do wrong.
Okay, so that little xiphoid process is kind of lifting up, deep belly on as you lower. Whoa, okay, and ideally we want to get the elbow to the side of the body. Yeah, and he's done 3 and has pooped. Okay, one more. So keep that first finger, keep those shoulders in that neutral, you okay?
Yeah, just takes a while to get the position.
Yeah, okay. But can you see how much stronger that is up there? Yeah, and then keep that trunk. That's nice, that's nice, that's nice. This is going to be really hard on those triceps. So last one. Watch the tails being up in the air. There's a little bit of tail lifting, some of you. Okay, so we don't want to be feather-tailed going down. Okay? Have a little breather. Come onto your back. We're going to have a little intermission, and we're going to come back to that position because I saw some very feathered tails up there.
Also going to do that again because of some of them?
Yeah.
Thank you!
Okay, so we're going to do a one-leg bridge. Okay. So I want you to bring your feet where you can stand vertical into the floor. And I just want you to press the ground down with your feet and just let your pelvis hover a second. No tucking, neutral. Just really feel your feet for a moment and feel the ball of your head, maybe your shoulder blades, okay? And just hang out there for a minute. Could the pelvis be neutral here? So could you roll the tail down a little bit? Yeah, and really kind of be in your hips. Do you feel that difference? So the feet really feel the floor.
So I'm putting a little bit of anterior toe.
Just, not forcefully, but just kind of resting
Yeah.
there. So there's no bum on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no hamstrings. So then slowly press a little bit more through the feet. And as you start coming up into your bridge, tilt a little bit 12, little bit thighs forward, little bit feet. Little bit 12, little bit thighs, little bit feet. Little bit 12, little bit thighs, little bit feet. So it's kind of an even distribution. Now, lengthen your low back without shifting. Okay, connect there. Yeah, now send the thighs forward because you haven't come to your bridge yet. Okay, no, not ribs. Okay, so yes. So make sure it feels like you're going forward with the center of you. Yeah, do you feel that now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then slowly back down. And you can either go straight down if you like, you don't have to articulate, okay? And then fully rest the pelvis. So you're gonna hover just in that neutral for a second. So press through the feet, hover. And just stay there for a minute. Let go of the back of the legs, let go of the hamstrings. They wanna kind of kick in too soon, okay? Then press a little bit more through the feet. Feel the bones, not the muscles of your legs. Little bit of tilt to the pelvis, little bit of thigh bones, little bit of feet. Little bit of pelvis, little bit of thigh bones, little bit of feet. Focus on the front of the hips. Don't traction your shoulders. Front of the hips. Thighs forward, feet. Feet, 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 feet. There you go. Okay, sometimes the feet stop pressing. Yes, low back. Watch the over retraction there. Okay, you alright? And slowly back down, either straight down or articulate, whatever feels good. Yeah, do you feel if one does too much? So if your thighs go too much, you end up compressing the knees. If the feet go too much, you start going too high. If the pelvis goes too much, you stop the movement. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so you can stay with that option, or you're going to bring one leg to your chest. Okay, so this is a bit more functional. So I still want the same feeling here with the foot. Okay, so you're going to press down into that single foot. Okay, start to lift up. Thigh forward. Now at the same time, the thigh that you're holding is going into flexion. Okay, so you're pressing into your foot, sending your thigh, sending your body out. This leg in the air is coming towards you. So you're really feeling the opposition between your sit bone going up the back of the leg, breathing as you do it, and then come back down.
Oh.
We're just going to do 3 of those.
Hey.
You okay? Okay, so press down into the foot. As you're pressing, this leg that you're holding is flexing in the hip with space, so you don't want to crunch it. And as the leg is flexing, the other leg is pressing down the thigh, going forward, sit bone up. Feel that? And then come back. Okay, one more time. Make sure your deep belly's on so you haven't let go of that. Press, remember this is our little intermission. Okay, lengthen through the low back. So feel like your sacrum is going out to the front of the room. Yeah. There will be a twist in the pelvis, okay? So don't worry about that.
Oh.
Yeah, good. You alright? Other side.
It's tough.
Yeah. Okay? So other leg, that should be hard, guys. If it's not hard, you're either not going up to the top or you're doing it from your low back instead of from your glutes. Okay, so make sure you get that press through the foot. The thigh, it's the opposition of the thighs that really helps me. The hip flexion, hip extension. Deep belly. Could the sacrum go a little bit more? Could your low back go? Could you press through that foot a little bit more? Yeah. There we go. And back down. You might feel a big difference in sides. Yes? Only 2 more. Press. Good. Leg in. Good. Sit bones up the back of the legs. Good. Deep belly on. Sacrum lengthen out. How's that feeling? Yeah, different on sides. Are we on the 3rd one?
2nd.
Okay. So last one, guys. Press down. Thigh forward. Feel the space in your hip where the ball meets your socket. Yeah? Space on that top leg. Woo! And release. Well done. We gotta flip over. So I don't want peacock feathers in the air with your tails, everyone. So let's come back into that quadruped. Okay? So if you're in kind of more of a quadruped, there's going to be more temptation if you hyperextend. So there's going to be more temptation to do that. Okay, but then when Stu goes down with his elbows, it's kind of passive. Yeah, you saw how hard that was for him to do the one before. Okay, so walk your hands forward just a little bit more. Okay, so all of you need to be more 12. Okay, so even in this position, whether you're quadruped or not, yeah, you want to keep this position, okay? Middle finger forward, first finger on the ground, elbows pointing forward to start. So we start in that nice position. Here we go. Xiphoid process up, lengthen. Yeah. Keep length, keep length, keep length. And push the ground away. We're looking for 4 really good ones. Okay, so that bottom rib is lifting, but your spine is lengthening out. Yes, good. How's that first finger? Is it still on the ground? Good. How's the inner thighs? As your tail started coming up. That looks much better, guys. Watch that when you go too low. Some of you I'm seeing as you get to a certain point, the tail starts going up. Keep 12, keep 12, keep 12. Oh, we lost the ribs a little bit.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, what will happen is, sorry to stick my bum in the air, when we go here, as we get down, the ribs will let go, okay? Because the arms don't want to take it anymore. So you've got to keep the ribs in, ribs in, ribs in. That's going to really work the back of the arm. So the back of the arm should be quite fatigued.
Oh yeah.
Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Cool, let's stand up. So we're going to do some funky squats.
Funky squat?
Funky squats. So, you know our toe bridge?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to rise up onto the toes. And those of you that have done Stu's classes, and obviously we do it in Pilates too. So when you roll up into kind of a little calf raise, you want to feel like your baby toes. So it's kind of like the first finger in that quadruped. Yeah, it's like the big toe pad is really connecting to the floor. The baby toes are almost feeling lifted, a little bit of 12. Then you're going to take your time reaching the back of your heels back, and you're just going to tap the heels. You're not going to fully load them down, okay? Rise back up. So we're just going to do 4 of those. Good. So really almost feel like your big toes are rolling into each other. So it almost feels like internal rotation. Yeah, more. Trust it, more. Yeah. More. So don't go so high. Yeah, so you might not go so high. If you find that you're going kind of out here, then I would come down just a little bit lower. Don't go so high on the feet, okay? One more time. That's not even the hard part.
We hold the wall to balance or something?
Yeah, you can. I was just going to say, do you want a chair?
No, I'd rather figure it out, but
okay.
I just slow it down a little bit, so I obviously struggle with the balance at times on these.
Yeah, I'll just have it there if you guys want a chair.
Because it's so easy, and you'll appreciate it's so easy just to lift the heels up, but like Kel said, be more on the outside of the plantar fascia, isn't it? Like that. I feel like the balance there, but I'm really challenging that.
Yeah, because it's really getting that internal wrap of the big toes that's key. Okay, if you want to face this way and just lightly hold the chair if you need to. So face sideways. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into the toe bridge. You might want to move back just a little bit. Okay, so go up into that toe bridge, and then we're going to try and go down into a little squat pattern. Okay, so up. Yeah, and if you can do it without holding on, but yeah, so slowly going down now into a kind of a straight back squat. So this is just like a little half squat. This is really just for ankles.
Keep the heels up.
Yeah. Good, and then come back up, and then lower the heels down. Lovely. So rise up. Good, make sure you stay on that big toe pad. And then slowly going down. Good, try and keep your back nice and straight though. So back straight, back. Yeah. There, so that's going to really challenge the feet. This is more for challenging the arch of the foot. Okay? And then back down. So you went a little bit on the outside on your right leg, okay? So yeah. Inner foot. Okay? Keeping the back nice and neutral. So core on. Yeah. You okay?
Yeah, I know what you mean about that. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to really challenge anyone that has bunions. That's going to be really, really challenging. Okay, so now I want you to go the opposite way. So I just want you to bend into the knees a little bit. So the knees are going forward. Okay, and like we kind of did at the beginning, we're just like bouncing a little bit. So heels go back. We're bending into the hips. So it's not all kind of knees thrusting forward. There is a bend back in the hips. Yeah? So we're kind of seeing how the shins and the calves that we've kind of worked, how are they? Yeah? This is my pathetic little squat with my heels down. Okay? so now we're going to go down into here as far as we can, then lift the heels up, push up, and come back down. So we're just going up the reverse. Okay? So we go into the squat. Yeah, we're still slightly more straight back here, guys. Otherwise, we're going to lose the weight in the right place. Okay? And then heels up, push up, and heels down. So squat. Try and keep your back neutral more. Yeah. Now go up. Yes. Woo! One more. And bend. Heels up. Watch the knees caving in. Press up. And release. Okay. So, face front. So we'll just do this is a little bit of a play. Okay. So just get a kind of a comfortable stance if you want to be on the mat. Actually go on the mat. If you've got a mat there, go on the mat. So stand on your mat. Just in the middle. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to use our right finger. Okay? Yeah. So kind of like we did with the clock with our feet, now we're kind of doing it with the hands. Okay? If the feet need to be slightly turned out here, because we're going to potentially go into some deep squats, okay? So we're going to start nice and easy. You're just going to point your right finger to your right big toe. Okay? And then come back up. You're going to point your right, so we're staying with the right finger, you're going to point to the right heel. Good. Awesome. You're going to point to the right corner of your mat and try and find a point on that mat that you're going to reach down to.
You mean over there?
Yes.
Over there.
Good.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah. And then over to the side of the mat. So kind of reaching that right finger over.
Still coming up the switch time.
Yeah. You go as deep as you feel. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit across the body. So go to the left corner of your mat. Reach. Nice. Good. Let's go through the legs and touch the left heel. Ooh, watch that collapsing ankle. Good. We'll do an easy left toe. Good. And then we'll do a final one wherever you want to go. So one more underneath and maybe over behind, or one more to the front. We haven't done one to the front yet. Let's go to the front.
I was going wherever you want to go. I was going to go that way.
Awesome. Okay, left side. So, yeah. So let's go left hand to left big toe.
Oh,
Yeah, watch the knees collapsing in, okay? So we don't want to have that collapse knee. And then to the back of the heel. Nice. Good. Let's go to the front corner. Nice. Good. Back corner. Or side kind of corner. Yeah. Let's go over easy to the right big toe. Good. Through the legs to the right heel. Through the legs behind. Yeah, lovely. To the front. Awesome. And maybe one more kind of straight over, maybe crossed over or something funky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Like it? So again, we kind of get all those different angles. And unfortunately, we're going back down to the floor. Okay, so one more weight-bearing one. This is quite a good one. Okay, so back to that arm position. How are we feeling?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so toes tucked under. We're going to have that elbow facing forward. Yeah, do you see how that immediately retracts your shoulders? So let them retract a little bit. Yeah, good, as long as we don't drop the belly out. Okay, now we're just going to hinge back the hips a little bit. Good, so that there's not as much weight on the arms. Yeah, so you can feel actually that you can lift your hands. Can you lift your hands?
Well, both of them.
Well, just no. But yeah, really feel that you're in kind of the back of your legs. There you go. Okay, now once you're there with your pelvis, bring your hands underneath your armpits a little bit more. So you are a little bit closer to your knees. Obviously, don't be completely touching. Elbows around, shoulders, okay? That first finger. Yeah, just make sure it's not like super rigid. It's stable, okay? Now, you're going to feel like you're pushing your feet back and your hands forward. And you're going to hover the knees off the ground. Feel like you're pushing the mat forward and feet back. Good, and then rest. Oh, watch this like the dropping of the rib cage, okay? This is quite hard. Even if the knees just come off a little bit. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Good. And feel like you're pushing the mat apart. Pushing the mat apart. Good. And then come back. Good. So the back. One more time. Little hover. Woo! Good. And then walk your hands forward and just come into kind of a little kind of thoracic. Don't sit into a shell. It's not a shell. Okay? So it's more of a thoracic lift. So have your arms straight. Lift up just a little bit onto your toes. Okay, now the hips go back, but you have space in the hips. Okay, so we don't want to drop the belly so much that we actually don't feel the little crease in the hips. Okay, then you're slowly bringing your thoracic spine, but without losing the space there. Yeah, keep the head long. Yeah, you can feel that in lats as well. Yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so deep abdominals in, don't let those sag. Okay, so we're just trying to get a little bit more thoracic lift. Good, then just come forward. Ooh, good, come back into that little hinge. Watch the belly isn't dropped too much and the ribs aren't. Yeah, so I want to feel the leg and the hip. Leg up, head nice and long. Good, and then it's like you're allow the shoulders to retract a little bit. Yeah, so you're not trying to pull your shoulders down your back, you're just trying to get your spine through. Does that feel quite hard?
It feels hard to do without a lot of cues that you're doing.
Yeah, because you do drop your ribs quite a lot. Okay, so now from here, guys, we're going to try and go into a down dog. Watch the hand position. Good, it's a nice spread. So from there, you're going to push the mat away, hover the knees. You might need to adjust the hands. Now, don't bend the knee, don't straighten the knees. Get that thoracic extension. Deep belly. Good, and then lower the knees back down, bring yourself back to kind of more of a quadruped. Yeah, no, so keep the hands there, but just bring the spine back up. Yeah, okay, so go down into that thoracic stretch. Good, hips, and then up into the down dog. Try not to hang out the ribs. Yeah, think more hips. Yeah, there you go. Ribs, lovely, and then come back down, knees to the ground. Body going forward. Lovely. Last thing. So we're going to go into a plank from here. So get the hands underneath your, no, not that plank. Full plank.
Oh, full plank.
Yep. Okay. So nice, same position with those arms. So we've got the elbow forward. Now I really want you to connect through your legs. So almost so you have a little bit of glutes, a little bit of, yes, belly in here. Good. Now go into that down dog position. Yeah, good. Awesome. Good. Then round the back a little bit. So tuck the head. Go forward with the thoracic spine rounded. Yeah, deep abdominals and legs. Then lengthen your spine out. Good. Keep the belly on. Yes. Nice. Nice strong legs. Good. And then come back up one more time. Yeah, down dog position. Good. Yes, lovely. Now round the upper back as you go forward. So we're kind of thoracically flexed. That's going to help the belly come on. Now lengthen your upper back. Yeah, deep abdominals and legs. More legs. Yes! And then rest the knees down. We went a little bit over. Awesome. Have a little shell stretch. Do what you need to cool down. Hopefully that was hard. See, you made it hard. Thank you.